This is Orlando Sentinel Now.
Hello and welcome. It's Thursday, September 2nd, and this is Orlando Sentinel Now. Today, we're talking about Boise State at UCF for the home opener of football season. We're also talking about a status check on the EA building and a Florida Fresh Air feature. I'm your host, Joe Mario Pedersen, and joining me today, I have UCF Knights reporter Jason Beatty. I also have business reporter Austin Fuller and Things to Do reporter Patrick Connolly. Thank you all so much for being here. Kicking things off, we're coming over to Jason. Jason, very exciting news today. We got UCF in their home opener. I'm very excited. But getting right into this, I want to ask you, what is the excitement level at right now?
Yeah, actually, UCF AD Terry Mahajer just announced that they sold out for season tickets this season. They were nearing that number. They were at 98% a few weeks ago, so they were able to get over 26,000 season tickets. So when you add in 12,000 students and traveling fans and other people buying single tickets, there's going to be over 40,000 people at the Bounce House tonight. So fans are really excited for this. I told Mike Bianchi the other day, this is probably the most anticipated home opener since the stadium opened on campus in 2007 against Texas. So, there's a lot of hype for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, Gus Malzahn, his first year at UCF, Dylan Gabriel's back again. It's going to be really exciting, and fans are looking forward to it tonight.
40,000, man, that is wild. and it's easy to see why. There's as you said, a lot of excitement, but there's also a lot of curiosity. Jason, can you walk us through some of the bigger questions that maybe fans are speculating on right now? Let's start with UCF's offense.
Yeah, I think the number one question is, what's it going to look like? Obviously Gus Malzahn literally wrote the book of up-tempo, fast-paced offense. But outside of Cam Newton, when he was an offensive coordinator at Auburn, Dylan Gabriel is probably the most talented quarterback he's had as a head coach in his time coaching. So it's going to be, one big question mark is, it's going to be interesting to see how he uses Dylan in his offense and what that offense even looks like. There's expectations that, UCF is known for scoring a lot of points and doing so quickly. They've averaged over 40 points a game the past 3 seasons. So UCF fans want to see more of that. But at the same time, how is his offense going to be different from previous coaching staffs, and what's that going to look like tonight?
So, Jason, I mean, really, we could do a whole show just centered on the team itself. But before we move on, I do want to ask you about the team's defense. 2 positions in particular that stand out to me and maybe some other fans, that being the position of the Buck and the Knight. Can you tell us what those are about?
Yeah, so basically there are 2 hybrid positions. The terminology Buck and Knight, you'll see that across college football. Obviously, the Knight is, a reference to the UCF Knights and their mascot. But Buck is something, a phrase that Malzahn used while he was coaching at Auburn. Essentially what they are, they're kind of like these hybrid positions, whether you're a linebacker or defensive end. It depends on, the defense they put out on the field and how they want to use them, whether in the secondary to break up passes or on the defensive line to, go after the opposing quarterback. So, they're hybrid, versatile players that are able to kind of play all over the field, and that's how they use them.
One last question, actually, and that being, of course, what time is kickoff today?
Kickoff's at 7 o'clock. It's on ESPN, nationally televised game. The first real exciting game of the college football season. Really, like I said, highly anticipated matchup between Boise State and UCF.
Absolutely. And if you guys are looking for ways to satiate that excitement level before 7 o'clock today, you can do so by taking a look at Jason's work online right now at orlandosentinel.com. Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Austin, I want to come over to you now for one of your latest headlines, that being EA's downtown Orlando office should be ready by October, but pandemic delays should move that a little bit further into the future. So getting into that, Austin, what do we know about the office?
Sure. EA, which is the company that makes the Madden NFL football video game here in Central Florida, has been planning to move from Maitland to a new office in downtown Orlando in the Creative Village. The office is still on track to be finished in October, but EA, which is a global company, has directed its employees to work from home until February. So even though the office might be ready in a couple months, the employees won't be in there in at least in full capacity until February.
Okay, so I mean, as far as capacity goes, like how many are we talking, and how big is the building itself?
Sure, the building's 5 stories. EA has more than 800 employees right now, but because of the last, year and a half of everyone working from home, it's kind of changed how companies look at, office space and work. So even when the employees come into the office in February, some of them will be in the building all the time. Some of them will never be in the building. They'll be entirely remote, and some of them will be hybrid workers.
Gotcha. Now, in terms of this report, I do want to talk a little bit about office vacancy, as you had previously mentioned. And in your report, there is a bit of a focus on this on the greater Orlando area. So, what is office vacancy looking like throughout the region?
In the second quarter, JLL, which is a real estate services firm, said the office vacancy rate for the central business district or downtown is as more than 15%.
Now, in terms of EA, with things being the way that they are, has EA been faced with that problem with people working from home?
Their staff has been working from home the entire pandemic.
So, I
They
mean,
might have to go into the office to pick something up or to use a specific piece of equipment, but they've been working remotely the whole pandemic.
has that been a huge hurdle for them to clear? I mean, has that been any kind of a stymie? Because I mean, they're working with projects that are millions of dollars.
Last year, they were finishing up their Madden game when the pandemic hit. By the time they came around to this cycle with the new Madden that came out last month, they had learned those lessons of how they need to work remotely. And they're doing things, to keep the culture of working for a video game company, working on the team alive. For instance, they've sent out to their staffers who are working remotely these beat the heat kits that have like snacks in them.
Gotcha. Really interesting stuff. And we're going to be monitoring the progress of the building and people moving into the building as we get closer to that actual day. If you guys are looking for more information on it, be sure to take a look at Austin's story, of course, available right now at orlandosentinel.com. Austin, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick, I want to come over to you now. With you being here, of course, we're talking about a Florida Fresh Air feature. For those who don't know, Patrick takes us around to different Florida gems that you might not know about, natural gems, that is, that you might not know about. This week, we're going to Soldiers Creek Park in Winter Springs. Patrick, can you tell us about it?
Sure. So this park is right near Winter Springs, and whenever you first show up, you'll notice that there are a lot of fields that can be used for either softball or youth baseball. There's actually 6 of them, and the park got a sponsorship from the sports gear company Boomba. So, it's actually like Boomba Soldiers Creek Park. So it's known for hosting tournaments and stuff. But that was less what I was interested in, more so the mountain bike and hiking trails that are tucked just away from all of the baseball fields and everything. So if you head over, it's right in the corner of the park. You'll find an entrance to what is primarily used as a mountain bike trail. It's just over a mile long, about 1.3 miles. And, this trail had been on my radar for a little while as someone who enjoys, off-road cycling. But, it took me a while to actually get there. So I finally checked it out recently. And it's a trail that should be good for beginners. It's, kind of just nice and flowy. And at a couple parts, there are places where you can go on like the more difficult route or the main loop and, provide some little challenges along the way. But I would say, it's good for riders of all skill levels. And, you can show up once, kind of take it slow, scope it out. But as you keep going back, like, the one day that I was feeling pretty good, I ended up doing like 7 laps there. And it just becomes a challenge to see like how fast can you do a lap. If you're interested in hiking it, which I did do the other day, just to get a sense for what it looks like from a little bit of a slower pace. Hikers go clockwise. You're going against the direction of the bikers, so you can see if someone's approaching on the trail, and you kind of yield to each other.
So for those who are interested in biking out there or interested in hiking, what are some things they should know before they go?
So the main facilities and baseball complex is open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to use any of the baseball facilities, given there isn't already a game going on or a tournament, they have batting cages there as well. That stuff is all open from select hours. The trails are more like, dawn to dusk. So use those during daylight hours. But because of the baseball facilities there, it's kind of built up. There's benches. You'll find trash cans there. You'll find restrooms as long as they're open over at the main park. There's a playground and just all those little things, water fountain. And actually, even by the mountain bike trails, it's kind of nice. There's like a bike repair station. There's a bike wash. So a lot of nice little amenities.
Well, there you go. If you're looking for more information on Soldiers Creek, be on the lookout for Patrick's Florida Fresh Air features coming out every Friday. Patrick, thank you so much. All right, before we leave you today, we do want to talk about Thursday's weather presented by Premier Sotheby's International Realty. Thursday's weather is feeling a little cooler today with a trade-off for more thunderstorms. After weeks of temperature highs in the 90s, the high Thursday is 84. Yes, 84. Let that sink in for a second. The low should be about 75. Temperatures creep up a bit through Monday, but don't cross the 90-degree threshold. As for the skies, as I mentioned, we've got thunderstorms stretching through Monday. On Thursday, shower odds are at 40% and 60% on Friday. Those odds dip to the low to medium range throughout the weekend and on Labor Day. But for more information on that, be sure to take a look at OrlandoSentinel.com, where, of course, you can find all the other stories that we talked about here as well. For those of you who are subscribers to the Orlando Sentinel, thank you so much for continuing to support our work and supporting local journalism. If you want to become a supporter, it's easy to do so. All you need to do is visit OrlandoSentinel.com/subscribe. But as for OSN, that will do it for us today. A big thank you to Jason, Austin, and Patrick for keeping us filled in what's going on in our community. We'll be back again with more news tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Stay healthy, stay safe, and go Knights.
Watch Orlando Sentinel Now live every weekday at noon on our Facebook page and on OrlandoSentinel.com.